Hello, lovely people. Hope you're well. Welcome back to another episode of Combat Catch Up. Shout out to you all. Firstly, as we get going, please do smash that like button, but more importantly, make sure you subscribe to Luke's channel. Make sure you subscribe to Jamie's channel, and please also subscribe to this one. Boys, it's been a little while. How are you guys doing?
Not too bad.
Yeah,
Not too bad.
Can't complain. Can't complain. I have my pancakes, so I'm good.
You know what? I managed to find some protein pancakes at Aldi. I'm going to give them a try a bit later and see how they taste.
Yeah, fry them bad boys up.
Yeah, if they taste bad, I'm going to be so disappointed, man. So disappointed. But I'm praying it's all good. Boys, we're going to speak about a few topics. I think we have to speak about Sean Strickland. Because UFC 300, Ariel Helwani dropped a bit of a bombshell. UFC 298 we'll touch on, but obviously not go into too much detail because we'll be doing a preview on your channel, Luke, and all the rest of it. Ian Gary spoke to the team at TNT Sport and had some things to say, and Aspinall is itching to get back in the octagon. I'm going to start with some super chat. Shout out to Pimp in Distress, says, don't not plan a harder strategy. Works for the you know I can't say that. Works for the PP. Shout out to Ensman TV. Go and subscribe to Ensman TV as well. Bless up, bros. Have a great stream. Hashtag Salad Stays. I'm on board with that hashtag. Fully on board.
I'm on it as well.
So, boys, I'm going to play a clip here. God willing, I don't get demonetized for it or in trouble, but I shouldn't do. I'm going to play a clip and then we're going to discuss it. So here it goes.
There you go. Go down. Come on, bro. Come on,
Now, all right. So many things to unpack there. Now, say what you want about Sneako. Let's take the person Sneako out of the equation here.
Pretty hard to do.
I've sparred with people before, and I sparred with people who are way better than me and people who aren't as good as me. The people who are way better than me have had their way with me, but not to that level. They've always held back. Thank God, because if they didn't, I might not be doing this stream right now. But the people I've been better than and I've sparred with, I've always held back on. I'll be real. Sean Strickland is one of the best fighters in the world for his weight. He's one of the best fighters in the world, full stop. He did not hold anything back just then at all. Now, granted, Sneako didn't go down, but had that lasted maybe 3 or 4 more seconds, Sneako's going to sleep for a bit of a long time. I want to unpack the first thing. Correct me if I'm wrong here, guys, if I missed something. Sneako didn't badmouth Strickland or call him out in a rude way or... So this is just Strickland in his normal form. This is Strickland saying, I like you, but I'm still going to potentially kill you.
Yeah.
He said he wanted to kill him.
Yeah, the towel was thrown in 3 times and ignored twice.
It was on his blind side. You couldn't see it.
Where do we draw the line with this? Because I'll be honest, that while you obviously Sneako's got a reputation and stuff like that, so people will look at that and go, he kind of had it coming. He's had it coming for a few years, maybe people will say. But as a professional fighter, there's got to be some decorum. Like you're fighting a novice. That's the equivalent of me stepping in there with a 10-year-old and just beating a 10-year-old up. Like you'd be like, right, come on, man, you've gone a bit far there. Like, is he going too far at the moment with his, because it's not even a persona. I'm going to say persona. Is he just going too far being Sean Strickland at the moment?
No, go further. Go further, man. Look, Sean Strickland's probably the biggest star in UFC at the moment.
Yeah,
because he's beaten himself. Well, we spoke about lately about they're not allowed personalities and stuff like that. This is Sean Strickland. Look, he always broke Nina's leg.
Yeah, Dana can't control it.
He checked. He showed her how to kick and then checked it.
Yeah. Did you see that? Did you hear the noise it made?
Yeah, it bone on bone, man.
Oh,
And he's banging her. So you imagine what you imagine what I just think that's Sean Strickland, man. He's a fighter. He is what he is. He tells everyone what he is in interviews. So he's not hiding anything. If you want, who was it who told him not to go and spar? The former fighter, what's his name? Jake Shields. Jake Shields told Sneako not to go and spar him because he was training with him or something.
Yeah.
And then he told Jake Shields, "I'm going to go and spar with Strickland." He went, "Don't do that. You'll get murdered." And it's just the way he is. I personally really like Strickland. I know some people don't, but I personally really like him, and it's his personality that's making him a superstar at the moment. Some fighters, you get in that ring, you're there to get beat. It's just spar or not. It's just the way some fighters are, man. And Strickland don't hide the fact, does he? He's not lying to anyone.
That is true. He's never once lied about who he is, and he's never once gone, "If you spar with me, I'm going to take it easy." He's always said he's going to.
Oh yeah, he has gone in there and banged with Francis. In sparring, and he's literally told Francis, "Come on, 100%." And Francis is laughing at him, going, "No."
But that's also because Francis knows his 100% could potentially put Strickland in a coffin.
Yeah, but Strickland, you could probably tell Dana was probably delighted deep down that belt was ripped from him. As much as he says that Strickland won the fight against Duplessis, deep down Dana after the fight went, well, that's one less problem to worry about. Hey, don't worry. Strickland didn't nearly kill a guy in the octagon. Fair play, he's got a chin. He's got a chin, because I thought his head was getting...
Sneako really took a beating there. Hats off to him.
But I have to say, right, he got called out by Bryce Hall, who did the bare knuckle. Jake Paul got involved, so it looks like that he's on the Jake Paul hit list, the MMA hit list. So when he's 40 and got no knees left, then maybe we may see that fight.
Yeah.
And he offered, like, Jake was like, "I'll come to the PI, and spar you and stuff like that." And Strickland was like, "Just spoke to Hunter, says that there's no money in you." There's no money.
Jake Paul would never ever go and spar Strickland in MMA. It'd be the worst mistake of his life.
He's completely unhinged, but it's great to see. Just why spar him? This guy's got no filter, no switch, like nothing. He's just 100% crazy, no matter what.
He also had a run-in with MGK, Machine Gun Kelly.
Put him in there. I want to see that happen. I want to see that happen. In fact, put Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox as a double team, and he can wipe them both out. I want to see this happen. Yeah.
Do you think Strickland's in danger of, because there's a thin line between being a superstar and then going from being a superstar to a hated fighter. We're going to speak about Ian Gary later. So or Conor McGregor now. Is Strickland really walking on thin ice though? Because he's doing things at the moment which is, he's kind of getting away with, but people are starting to turn on him, and he hasn't been a superstar for that long either.
I don't know with Strickland. See, I think he says a lot of things that people agree with but are scared of admitting it.
Yeah.
So the people that are starting to fall out of him are these people that are online that don't want to admit who they actually are, but they actually agree with things he says. I think that's why he's got such a following. And as I keep saying with him as well, I just really rate about him. As far as I'm concerned, he's never lied. He is what he is. He says what he is, and he does what he does. And that's why I like the guy. I said it. I'm looking for a fighter that's got a personality, that's
one that you can gravitate towards.
Yeah, that I can gravitate. I see a lot in Strickland, in myself, obviously, but so I don't agree with everything he says, but I like what he says, and I like the fact he's got the courage to say it and stick by his convictions. I like that. I don't like people that just go back on something because 5 people on Twitter are getting older, like moaning about him. I like that about him. And there's not many fighters. How many fighters in MMA are like that at the moment? Not many. And I like the fact he's got a personality, man. Is he running? Is he on that line? Probably. Probably
He
because
is
the world
something
we live
else
in.
because
Because of the world we live in today,
Yeah.
he is on that line, which is just an unfortunate thing about society right now. But for me, I can't get enough of him at the moment. I enjoy watching his videos on YouTube when he has interviews, his fights. He's an exciting fighter and personality, and I don't see nothing wrong with that in combat sport, personally.
I do believe he is literally one, because like there's instances of people trying to rob his house, like nick his car off his drive. Stupid, because he literally pulled a gun on the person and the person ran. He is one major incident outside the octagon, because what happens if he pulled that trigger?
Which he would have.
Well, in America, it's all right. I don't know.
Away from getting completely shut down. There was literally a fighter today in the UFC just being arrested on battery charge.
Yeah.
He is on a very, very thin line. Yeah, the stuff with Sneako, yeah, it's good for the stream and stuff like that. And they probably laughed about it afterwards that Strickland nearly took his head off.
I don't think Sneako would have laughed about that.
But the Sneako thing, do we not think that Sneako probably signed something before he got in there?
Yeah,
I doubt it.
But Sneako took it like a champ, didn't cry about it afterwards. But it's in a controlled environment because it's in the PI, right? He takes that outside.
Was it really, bro? They threw the towel in twice.
Had to jump in and say, "Oh, Sean, yeah, that's enough."
Yeah, someone threw the towel in, but then was cracking up at the same time.
This is. I mean, there are certain MMA fighters I look at and I go, yeah, I'd like spar with that person. I know I'd get battered, but there are some MMA fighters I look at. I'd do a light spar with them. Strickland's
off that
list. Last of that list.
Yeah.
I would never step in there with him. Like, so again, shout out to Sneako for taking, as you said, Luke, taking it like a champ. But I hope he learns from that mistake, and I hope other people in general, because there is it's not just influences. Like, there was another fighter recently who called out someone who was trolling him, and he beat the guy up and then choked him out. And I'm like, I think people I get we're in an era where people are keyboard warriors and trolls, but there are some real people out there who will literally batter you to within an inch of your life.
Curtis did that. Chris Curtis brought a hater in and he battered into a pulp. And Strickland was the one that had to get involved.
Yeah, Strickland, crazy enough, stopped it that time, which is crazy. You'd think Strickland would have let it go, but I mean, I think people really need to start being mindful of their behavior online and just in general. Like, please stop starting problems with MMA fighters and boxers. Like, they are trained to beat people up.
Pick your fights, man.
Yeah, like start on us. Like, we're not trained to beat people up, but you're starting with the wrong people. Let's be real. Like, if you're gonna start trouble, you don't start trouble with the toughest person in the room, because it's gonna end one way, and it ended in a bad way for Sneako. Do we see Strickland fight again before International Fight Week, guys? Do you think it happens?
Yeah, he looks in shape.
I'm not too sure.
Personally, it should be a DDP rematch. If it ain't, it's shocking.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. He's probably fit enough to go. But with the UFC, I will touch on it in a bit. But I've got no idea. No idea.
Well, speaking of main events and who should be fighting, who shouldn't be fighting, UFC 300 still does not have a main event. Just 2 months out. I want to play this clip from Ariel Helwani. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but we're going to discuss this, and I really want to hear your guys' thoughts on this.
I think right now, if the UFC had their way, if they can snap their fingers and make the biggest fight in their mind happen, and the fight that they've been working on happen, and have their say as to what is the main event for UFC 300, I think that they would make Leon Edwards versus Khamzat Chimaev. I believe, based on my conversations, that when Dana White is talking about, the hurdles and the issues and the different things at play in terms of making this fight and how troublesome it has been, I believe that's securing Khamzat's ability to fight in the United States. This has been rumored for quite some time that he has, for whatever reason, some issues coming over to the States. The last time he fought here was in Jacksonville almost 2 years ago. And so I believe that that's been part of the holdup. If they can't, for whatever reason, secure that matchup, I think they would look at a potential Khamzat versus DDP, but I think that the top choice is Leon versus Khamzat. This could all fizzle.
Right. A lot to unpack there. Firstly, no UFC 300 main event. We've all spoken at this at length. We did a video with you last week on this as well, Luke. So guys, go and check that out on UFC 300. We still don't have a main event, which to me is crazy. I don't think it needs a mega main event, but would it be nice to have one? Absolutely. We know Connor's definitely not going to be on it. Which again,
that's a whole different convo.
That's a whole nother ball game, a whole nother conversation. We presumed Leon might be on it, but we presumed he'd be fighting Bilal Muhammad, who we all agree, even though we may not think his fighting style is exciting or whatever, not the most exciting character, etc. We all agreed he was the rightful, deserving opponent for a welterweight title bout next. Khamzat looks like he's potentially going to jump the queue if Ariel's sources are correct. First question, I'll start with you, Luke. Can Khamzat even make 170?
No idea. No idea. Because let's be honest, it's probably about less than 60 days till UFC 300. They're going to have less than a fight camp to prepare. Unless, because I think I said on my channel, I reckon the UFC have told a bunch of fighters you could be fighting at the UFC 300 main event. So get ready. I reckon they told them when they floated the idea of Gaethje Holloway back in October that they would have told a bunch of fighters, keep ready because we may need you. Because this screams of the UFC have not got a clue what they are doing. They have not got a clue. They are just throwing stuff to the wall and see what sticks. I don't even think this is going to happen. This is just going to let you down, ready for Bilal Leon. Because I reckon that will be the main event. Because it's the easiest one to make. But it's going to be the one the fans don't want. Because this card needs a mega main event. And to float the idea that Khamzat could get in the title shot, could get people outraged that he's jumping the queue, concerns he won't make weight, and I'm ready for the end of this week, where there's a Q&A for UFC 300. They'll drop the main event, Leon versus Bilal, and Dana will go like, "Oh, hi guys. Yeah, sorry, we couldn't get Khamzat, but we'll get Leon." And he's all smirking there. It's a joke. Piss poor planning. And the fact is that we're even considering a guy that moved up a division because he couldn't even make weight, and you're thinking you're gonna basically get his guarantee that he's gonna make weight on your biggest event of the year. Jesus Christ.
That is, excellent points there, if I'm going to be honest. I didn't think of that last one, how much onus you're putting on him to sell that event, especially with his prior. Now, if we're going to play devil's advocate and give him the benefit of the doubt, he said he stopped trying to cut weight because the doctor told him to. Previous to that, he'd never missed the weight. So he's only missed it once. So he's not like a serial weight misser. He's only missed it once.
Yeah.
Let's say, for all intents and purposes, Jay, that Khamzat is on weight and makes 170. Are you happy? Does that satisfy you, having Leon Edwards versus Khamzat for the welterweight title, headline 300? Is that mega enough to represent that card?
Yeah, I'll be happy with it. I mean, it's a like, I'll be happy with it. It's a late addition to the card because you can tell they'll be trying to get other things done. But I mean, the thing is, Khamzat, I think, has already denied this today, saying that he won't fight in Ramadan anyway.
Then he called out DDP literally the same day when he called out DDP.
Yeah, I just don't think Khamzat can make 170 anymore. He's too big for 170. I just don't know how he made it in the first place. I look at this 300 card. I think the reason Dana hasn't booked an easy main event like Edwards Bilal is because I do think what Ariel was saying has a bit of truth, that he is trying to book something special, and going through hurdles to try and do it. And at the moment, that's why it's not been announced. Personally, you know, he could do Bilal Edwards quite easily and just book it, and then put with Gaethje and that, and the rest of the card, he will go. That's a perfect 300 card, no problem. But I literally do think. I think Ariel Wani is onto saying. I think even you know, as much as we joke about Sharab and all these other pundits and all that, I think they are correct that it does look like Dana is trying to do something for the main event that is a little bit special, and that's why we're waiting for so long. But if he can't get the hurdles jumped, then he'll have to book it. See, I personally think he was trying to get my whole thing on it. I think he was trying to book Pereira and
Aspinall.
I think that's what the hurdles were. I think that's the fight he was trying to do, because the other guys that are all that kind of level are all just fighting recently, and they won't have time to make that card. I think that's the fight he has been trying to make, and that's why Aspinall's been talking about it.
So Aspinall, we're sorry, Luke, real quick. Aspinall spoke on this. We're gonna have an Aspinall section, so I won't go too deep into it. Aspinall spoke on this, and he actually said that they were going back and forth, but through a mutual friend, he found out that Pereira is actually not looking to move up weight just yet. So that's completely off the table. But he said both would be open to it, just not right now.
Yeah. That's why the hurdle. I think that was the hurdle thing about it.
Oh, yeah.
John Jones was asked to do 300 as well.
Yes, that's the next thing I was going to ask. So now we're here, Luke.
Such a troll.
Do you think he was actually asked? And if so, should he have come out and said anything?
No. But quickly before we touch on that, I believe his idea for UFC 300 was Izzy Pereira 3, providing Izzy kept the belt, or Izzy DDP for the belt. I think Izzy losing to Strickland, I think that shattered the plans that they originally had. I reckon it was supposed to be Izzy at UFC 300, but he lost the belt. And that's why sort of it's been a mess since, struggling to find out whose schedule fits up where. That's my own personal opinion.
Cal, it must be Cal when he does his own thing, because Cal on my show earlier thing never went once. Never went once. I've got my finger. I've got my take on Izzy. You don't want to hear my take on Izzy.
I do now.
I don't think Izzy's as good as he thinks he is.
Oh no.
Also, I don't think Izzy's the superstar that he thinks he is either.
And do you know what? The second part, I may slightly agree with you.
I don't think he's a star. I don't think he's a star like people think. I really don't.
I agree with you. The talent-wise, I think the talent is still...
Talent's there.
Top.
I don't think Izzy is better than a prime Anderson Silva.
Oh, no.
Maybe not.
And I don't think he's... I think he's an exceptional fighter. I just don't think he's talented. I just don't think he's as good as many people think he is. And the superstar part of it, I don't think he is one. I don't think he's a draw. I don't think Izzy's a draw. And I think the fact
that when he was active and when he had the belt,
if you look at his fights, I don't think Izzy can take a poor card and make it like a Conor McGregor can. I don't think he's that kind of superstar.
No, I don't know if anyone can do it. I think Conor might be the only.
I think John Jones could.
John Jones can't.
John Jones.
Also, John Jones is. I don't think John Jones is going to pass a drugs test right now.
Yeah, possibly. Oh, did you see him heckling?
That weren't a sober man. I ain't gonna lie.
I'll be honest. If I was a comedian, that would be my worst nightmare.
What's John doing at that little club?
I don't know.
Did he fall into it?
Do you know what's bad though? If he just, let's say he heckled him and the comedian heckled him back and John got angry. There's actually no one in that room that can help.
And John ain't going to sit there. He will come on the stage.
He will definitely do something. Like you can look to security, but security can't help you. No one can help you.
Just hope you got Francis on speed dial close.
Yeah.
John Jones is a shout though. I think John Jones did want to fight at 300 because
He's such
He
a
said he
troll.
won't be 100% though.
100% from what? He had 2 seconds in the ring.
No, from the surgery.
He tore his
Oh
pec.
yeah, his surgery.
Yeah.
I forgot about
Yeah.
his surgery.
Yeah.
The
Otherwise, I
man's
think
walking
he
around. The
beat
man's walking
Sneako
around
with a pec.
nightclubs. I'm sure he's like.
well, he did like he took part in some rugby thing over in Australia because he's in Australia at the moment. He said he wants to be 100% before he takes on his last couple of fights. I don't think he's even going to have a couple of fights. I think
He's
it's
having
one.
one against Stipe. He's having his retirement and he's dropping
Yeah.
the mic going,
I think him and
"Way!"
Stipe fight International Fight Week personally. That's why I think they're holding back Conor for autumn. Just on 300 though. Speaking of Conor, is this a little bit reminiscent of UFC 205? Because remember, the original main event was meant to be Eddie Alvarez and Khabib. Khabib got swapped out for Conor. Khabib was furious about it. Got moved down to the prelim main event. Cut his
Yes.
famous promo. Could Bilal be the Khabib in this situation? Because everyone knows Khabib should have got the title shot against Eddie Alvarez when he got the title, when Conor got it. Everyone knows Bilal should get the title shot now, but Hamzat could get it because he's more popular. How do we feel about Bilal here? And what does it do for the state of the sport if it is Hamzat who gets the title shot?
It should be Bilal if we go by how it should work. But as I said in the chat earlier, that it's all about impressions and making money. That's what it is. It's about getting eyes. It's about getting eyes and impressions. And I'm sort of with it. I'm sort of understanding why they go down that road, because if I was going to run an organization, I would want to put on the biggest fights I can possibly do every single month, and I don't think UFC do that because they put on too many fights. But yeah, it should be Bilal, but Bilal Edwards should be at 301, not 300.
No, 301's in Brazil, so it should be Alex Pereira in Brazil. 301's in Brazil, but I do feel like that when you look at the options for the main event, that main event is at the bottom because one, it's probably going to be easy to get together to get the contracts. I think it's political. I honestly, because you know how UFC is like, oh, we don't get involved in politics. I reckon this is political because of Bilal's stance with certain conflicts, the flag he likes to bring to the octagon and stuff like that. I think that's a big reason why the UFC are shelving him. Like that
Surely that's against Dana's free speech stance, though. Surely.
Well, Dana's a hypocrite, but Bilal's done multiple weight cuts for fights that he's not had for the title, and I swear he's hit the 35 curse, so he's finitoed. Like he'll get the shot, and then he'll end up losing, which is not fair on him. But I personally feel like they're conspiracy theorists. I do think it's partly political why he's sort of been shelved. For them ready to dodge, and plus I do think that they'll want him there for someone to beat on their way up. I don't think Dennis sees him as an A+ player. I think they see him as like, that's Bilal. Cool.
There was a long ago that Dana probably thought about Sean Strickland, and look at him now though. Yeah, anything can happen in this sport.
Sean Strickland's got that charisma on the mic. I just like Dana probably sees Bilal and went, yeah, when you trained with Khabib, you were slightly more interesting and you had a better fight style. But apart from that, mate, you're boring. You don't sell me tickets.
Well, people, if you haven't already, smash that like button. Make sure you go and subscribe to Jamie's channel and Luke's channel. Link is in the title, so you just have to click on the link and you'll be there. Just going to read out a couple of chats before we move on to UFC 298. Pimp in Distress, hope little one is okay, bro. Big up to AJ. Football Gospel on the Monster deal. Yeah, the Monster deal. I'll have to do a video on that one day because there's a lot behind that Monster deal, and why people like Izzy and Dominic Cruz really don't get with hands. Shout out to Theo, who says Khabib could cut promos. I mean, we didn't know Khabib could cut promos until he cut that promo. So yeah, I mean,
Khabib's a star. But
yeah, bona fide, and he had a whole nation behind him. I don't think Bilal's got a nation behind him. Conor had a whole nation behind him. There's a reason why GSP whole nation behind him. I mean, you kind of see where the common denominator is there. Football Gospel says, I can't lie, I'm biased. Love Hamzat. Hamzat versus Leon is a fight I wanted to see a year ago. Now I
It's
kind of
stopped
don't have that
falling
interest.
because if you get past the first round, you're in with a real good chance of beating them.
Yeah, but
In
that's
my
what I want to
opinion,
see though. He might can
Hamzat
Leon
lost
get out
to
of the first round.
I thought Hamzat lost to Usman personally.
Yeah, so did I.
So-
And we saw what Leon did to Usman.
Hmm.
On to UFC 298 though, guys, which is this weekend. A massive fight card, which I mean, kind of going under the radar, and the UFC haven't done a great job in promoting it because they're busy promoting the Slap League. Not gonna go into.
I watched that. When we get to that in a minute, I need to talk about it. 'Cause I sat there and watched it on YouTube, the whole event. So I
What
can
did you
break it
think of
down.
the whole event? You loved it, innit? You loved it.
Yeah, I can't lie, man. I was watching it. I started it. I was watching it. I was thinking, yeah, let's just give it a go. I sat there for 3 hours and watched the whole thing.
Can't do it, man.
They put more effort into it to entertain you than they do a UFC fight at
Yeah.
the moment.
Because that's
production
Dana's
around it-
passion.
Yeah,
The
that's Dana's
production
new thing.
around it. They've got Nina. They're not stupid. They've got Nina presenting it on YouTube.
Aiden Ross,
Right.
is that the thing? Dana
And then
literally
they've got
called-
all these YouTubers coming in. They've got all these celebrities coming in. Joel Barkley, for goodness sake. They've got all these people coming in for interviews and all that. And like putting effort into it. And then their fights. The women. There's women's slap league now. I didn't know this. Turned on or appalled. I didn't know. Didn't know what to be. I was just sitting there going, I can't take my eyes.
because
I
that's
watched a
David's
car
passion
crash
now.
and I can't take my eyes off it. I was just intrigued. I can understand why it is actually really big on social media, on Rumble and YouTube. I can understand why it gets them numbers. I get it. Look, it shouldn't be a sport because it's concussion
Oh,
city.
I can't, man. Can't get into that, man. How can you let someone get a free slap in the face? I
It's
couldn't
crazy.
do that. I couldn't do that. And you know what? They give them inflated egos, thinking that you can go in and spar with someone like Sean Strickland and get their asses.
Look, have you seen their training montages? Their training
Yeah.
montages.
They're just slapping a punch bag, innit?
They put one
They're
hand
just
behind their
slapping
back.
a
They just slap a
punch
pad.
It's mad. It's actually mad.
Yeah.
But on to UFC 298, guys. So obviously headlined by Alexander Volkanovski against Ilia Topuria. Volk coming off that head kick knockout loss against Makachev. Again, not going to go into great detail because we've got that preview on your channel, Lou. I just want to ask, of all the fights, which one are you guys most looking forward to? So I'll read off the main card. Anthony Hernandez versus Roman Koplyov. Marab Devashvili versus Henry Cejudo, who sacked his manager.
I think he's trolling there.
It's
I
so
think he's cooking
staged, it's
something.
unreal.
I think he's cooking something.
Jeff Neal versus Ian Machado Gary. Whitaker versus Paulo Costa, and then the main event. Jay, which one are you most looking forward to out of these fights?
Go down again. Oh, I forgot that fight. Hang on. Sorry.
So we
There's no
got
woman on the card.
Scroll down. Yeah, it is. I'm looking forward to Henry Cejudo eating soup for a week. If there's one fighter I can't stand, it's Henry Cejudo. I can't stand this guy. Yeah, I hope he eats soup for a week, man. But
there is a
Yo, hey,
yeah, whoa, only
Brazil.
quality.
Brazil.
Robert Whitaker, Paulo Costa. I ain't gonna lie, that intrigues me.
Yeah.
I think the main event will be the fight of the year, though.
Do you?
Oh, mate, please, Volk. If anyone can break that 35-year-old curse, it's you. He's been leaning into that. Hey, his daughter is such a troll, you know. I don't know whether or not you caught it, right? Volk was driving, and his daughter was like, "Duh, what happens if someone breaks in?" It's like, "Come on, world champ." And he's like, "Yeah, what happens if the person's Islam?"
Oh no, she didn't.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh, she'd have been homeless. She'd have been homeless. I kicked her out. She'd have been homeless.
If the intruder's Islam.
She'd have been homeless.
No, but if anyone can break that 35-year-old curse, it is Volk. But as I said in our last video we did together, Ilya's gonna look like a don, or he's gonna get cooked. Because the level of
Ilya's talking as
confidence
well.
he's showing, it's almost like that McGregor confidence against Jose Aldo. But unlike the Aldo one, everyone's tipping him to walk through Volkanovski. Like he's predicting a 1-round KO. Like he's some old age pensioner ready to take him out. But I think
You know what I'm
Volk's
looking for the Whittaker fight though?
Pardon?
I want to see what Whittaker's got
Yes.
after getting knocked out. That's face it.
Yeah, battered by
Steamrolled.
DDP.
I want to see if this is the end of Whittaker, this is his downfall, or Paulo Costa's got 0 stamina. So I think that could just be a 1-round absolute war. Them just slugging it out.
Can I ask you guys? I know 299's been getting a lot of fanfare, but I'm going to read out the 299 card because I have a little theory. I actually think 298's main card is better than 299. So I read out 299's. Yan versus Yadong, Gilbert Burns versus Madalena, Holland versus MVP, Poirier versus Benoit Saint-Denis, and O'Malley versus Vera. I'll be honest.
The main event sucks.
I think 298 is better than 299. I think 299 may have the bigger names. I think 298 is a better card.
Yeah,
am I wrong, guys?
The main event in co-main for 298 is better.
But hold on, remember, Cejudo versus Marab is number 1 or number 2 versus number 3 in the division, and that is the second fight on the card.
Right, I'll be honest. In 299, I'm just looking forward to seeing Kevin on the Michael Venom page.
Yeah, same.
Oh, same.
That's all I'm looking forward to because I want to see MVP in the UFC cage. He's got this massive. His credentials are huge. Anyone doubting him, you've not watched him. But he's mad, and he's had. I think he's had pro boxing fights as well.
Yeah. Knuckle against.
I just think he's going up against it straight away in his debut. I'm so intrigued by that. And then Benoit versus Poirier as well. I mean, if that's actually fighting, who knows? But,
that's a great fight.
That's a great fight as well, and it could be the passing of the torch kind of fight, in my opinion.
Benoit, my guy.
Yeah. So but 298. We'll go watch the weekend. I'm going to enjoy every single fight.
I think even the opening fight, Hernandez versus Kopylov.
Kopylov's a late replacement as well. He's dangerous,
He's a beast. Like this card, I think is really being slept on, and I'm thoroughly looking forward to it.
I think the prelims on 299 are better than 298 though.
Let me check the prelims on
299.
The prelims are a bit mad,
It's in the prelims for 300, man.
Oh, you know what, Jay? Oh wow, yeah. I'm seeing Gamrot versus RDA, Macy Barber versus Chukagian, Almeida versus Blade, which effectively could be a number 1 contender bout for Tom Aspinall's belt.
That's better than most fight nights.
Well, that's pretty piss easy. So
the prelims for 298 is doesn't compare.
Well, apart from the main event.
Yeah, apart from the main event, which
apart from the OnlyFans fight.
Yeah. Got him.
No comment. But we're obviously I'm taking all rooting for Mackenzie on this channel, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
cool. The best of the best. Someone who is fighting on 298 who has garnered a lot of talk is Ian Gary. So Ian Gary appeared on TNT Sport with Michael Bisping, Adam Catterall, and Nick Pete for their preview show. And I won't do word for word verbatim what he said, but on the whole, he was basically saying that he felt mistreated by fighters and the public regarding stuff that was said about him and his wife. He also turned around and says he's been a good human being and doesn't deserve this, and also believes that he's going to walk through Jeff Neal, and then potentially it seems like he'll probably call out Colby Covington if he gets the win. How are we feeling about Ian Gary? Is he hype? Is he potentially the guy? Is the hate warranted? Are people going too far with the stuff they're saying about his wife? Where do we stand on this?
I've got to run.
Yeah. Do you think, bro? Do you
Alright,
think?
sorry.
Yeah, we'll
Catch
catch
you
up, bro.
later.
Mate.
Nice
Yeah,
one, Jay.
You know what? That's a tough one, you know. Is Ian Gary going to get fraud checked by Jeff Neal? I think Ian Gary is he is an incredibly talented fighter. He is trying his very best not to sound like a McGregor from Wish, but no matter
Yeah.
how hard he tries,
It just keeps
all
on
I hear is, "What's up, guys? I'm trying to be McGregor, despite my name's Ian." But I do think the hate, he does get a lot of hate. I think some of it he's warranted on himself. I don't know whether or not you heard about. He was supposed to be on Rampage Jackson's podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm not going to show up on your show, you fucking idiot. But you know, I do think some of the hate is overwarranted, but he needs to play on this. He needs to go full heel. For me, because him trying to be the baby face, you know, it's not good for his brand. I know he's trying to be like Cody Rhodes in AEW. He wants to be cheered, he wants to be loved, but mate, people want to see you get knocked out. And to be honest, this fight's going to be massive because Jeff Neal, I don't know whether or not he's fought since Shavkat beat him via standing choke.
Yes, yeah. Which
Yes,
was
I don't think he's
that was
fought
a great
since then,
fight.
but it was a brilliant fight, and we know that there has been rumors that Shavkat did lay out Ian Gary in training. And what no better way to prove where he is if he gets a good win against Jeff Neal, because he is the proper gate. I can say it politely. I don't like to call people gatekeepers and stuff like that. Jeff Neal is a younger version of Neil Magny. You beat Jeff Neal, you're in a pretty damn good place. He's in a pretty damn good place, and we're gonna see, you know, let's see if he gets fraud checked. Because I just have a feeling if he thinks this is going to be a nice, easy win for him, think again, because I think he's in for a tough night.
I was going to say the same thing. I mean, we've seen Jeff Neal against Vicente Luque, and he beat Luque up. We haven't really seen Luque beat up like that in an octagon. He beat him up really bad. We've seen him beat up Mike Perry. Again, we've seen Mike Perry lose. We haven't really seen people batter Mike Perry. We saw him batter Mike Perry. Jeff Neal, if he gets you to fight his fight and he catches you with something, you're in a world of trouble. However, this also is a bit of a tailor-made match for Ian Gary if Ian Gary fights the way he should fight this fight. And I think the UFC know that. So this, look, it's a big fight, and I think I'm more interested to see if there's going to be a press conference, which I believe there will be maybe tomorrow night. I'm very intrigued to see how that goes down, especially with Ian Gary being there. Because I was intrigued to see how it had gone down with Colby, but I'm extremely intrigued to see how it goes down with this one.
Yeah.
Very intrigued. So before we finish off, let's do our last topic. Tom Aspinall. He's come out and he said he wants to fight. He said he's leaving the Stipe and Jones stuff behind him. He's done crying online about it. He says no one's going to stop him from being great. He knows John's not going to fight him. He knows Stipe is not going to fight him. He was offered Stipe at 300 and Stipe flat out rejected the offer. He said he's not going to let them stop his greatness. He says he has full respect for them, but he also had a sly dig, which I love about Tom Aspinall, where he said, if I'm considered the king of a division and I'm called out by someone who's seen as another king, then I'm meant to defend my throne. If they're not going to defend their throne, he's going to defend his. He said he wants to get back that Curtis Blades loss, even though we know that wasn't really a loss. He just sustained an injury in the first couple of seconds.
Yep.
Are you happy to see Tom Aspinall? In fact, before I ask the question, none of us believe that Tom Aspinall should have to defend his interim belt. We all believe he should be fighting John Jones next, or at least Stipe should have fought Stipe. That's not going to happen. How and why the UFC are allowing that to happen, which is more crazy. Are you happy at the potential of seeing Aspinall back? And is there a chance he could main event 300?
Oh, I don't think he'll main event 300. I just don't think
He said he's ready. He said he's ready.
He says he's ready, but we don't know who his opponent will be. Don't know where the
Cyril
other.
Gane, maybe.
I do have a feeling that the UFC have got this love of obsession with Cyril Gane. I don't know why. He's not like he went, he had a competitive fight against Francis Ngannou, a fight that he lost. Not like he won, he lost. That John Jones absolutely dismantled in literally less than like 2 minutes. But I do have a feeling that will be the next fight. I think there was rumors of a July card in the UK. So obviously that should be the main event. It should be Tom versus Cyril Gane. If you want to run Cyril Gane, personally for me, he should get the opportunity to have that Blades rematch in the same arena as he did his knee. But though that would be my preferred option for him. Don't rush back for 300. No, he says he's ready, but you're not going to get a proper camp between now and 300. So wait until July, get back in, successfully defend your belt, and then be there ringside for when Stipe and Jones eventually fight. And fingers crossed, you better hope Stipe wins.
I think it's even worse if Stipe. I think it's worse if Stipe wins.
It's just bans if Stipe wins.
Oh, football gossiper, Brock ain't fighting, bro. Like, Brock's in too much hot water.
Yeah, that ain't good for business. That ain't good for business. But no, I don't think it will be at UFC 300. But I think we'll see him in July, either against Cyril Gane, which I know Tom's not really for, because he said that he went to France, called him out in France.
Yeah,
and
Cyril dismissed him, didn't he?
Yeah. So in other ways, it should be Cyril. Should be Blades.
Oh,
but it will probably be Cyril Gane.
Yeah, we'll find out a lot from the Blades and Almeida fight, because it could be Blades or Almeida. I think one of those two will get the interim title shot, and I'll be intrigued to see who gets
Almeida, who absolutely stunk up the gaff, and then went, "Hey guys, did you enjoy the fight, guys?"
I'll be honest. I don't think either of them do much to Tom unless Tom has an off night.
Yeah,
I think Blades actually has a better chance of beating Aspinall than Almeida, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
So be intrigued. Well, we'll wrap up there. Obviously, Jamie's not here, but guys, make sure you support Jamie's channel. Click the link in the title. Got some great shows coming out over the course of this week. Luke, bro, tell the people where they can find you and what you've got coming up as well.
Yep. So you can find me on my own channel, Luke Tanner. Videos this week. We will be doing a preview for UFC 298 on Thursday. And then I'll also make an announcement on Thursday about what I'm doing in April as well.
Come on.
I got to keep the people guessing. It may or may not involve me getting into a ring and Callum may or may not be there, to watch me, lift up the hands victoriously and then do a watch along for UFC 300. So I better hope I don't get battered and bruised before that watch along. So yeah, you can find out more on Thursday.
Indeed. So people, make sure you look out for Luke's preview on his channel. I'll be involved in that. Hopefully Jamie will be as well. So make sure you head over to there. For the rest of the week, I'm going to this is going to be after Luke's preview. I'm going to trial doing a 5-minute preview for the main card. So I'm going to look out for that. Also, I might do a reaction to the press conference as well. And then we'll have the watch along on Saturday back at 3 a.m. Yay! For UFC 298. No, he is not fighting Mackenzie Dern. No one is fighting Mackenzie Dern. Leave her alone, football gospel, all right? Leave her alone. But no, people, thank you so much. Football gossiper, Pimping Distress, Theo, Eagle MMA, AJ, who else we got? Ensman, Jamie, obviously. For everyone else who hasn't commented but is watching, thank you so much. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channels, and until we see you next time, people, thank you so much for joining us. Take care. Love you all.